Beneath the thunder of tanks and bombs, another war was fought in silence, a war of deception, whispers and coded messages. While armies clashed on the front lines, shadows danced behind the scenes. Every telegram, every intercepted word carried life or death consequences. The Allies and Axis both knew intelligence could turn the tide. So began a battle fought with pens, ciphers, and unbreakable resolve. The secret struggle shaped entire campaigns and cost thousands of lives. It was a realm where trust was rare and betrayal was currency, where heroes worked unseen and victories went uncelebrated. From London to Berlin, from Washington to Bletchley Park, spies watched and waited. They weren't soldiers, but they decided who would win the war. This is the story of the networks that changed the fate of the world. At the outbreak of war, Britain's MI6 and Germany's Abwehr raced to recruit spies. Both sides sought to infiltrate governments, ports, and industries. The Germans believed their networks stretched deep into Allied territory, but in reality, many were double agents under British control. Meanwhile, the Americans began building their own intelligence empire, the OSS, headed by Wild Bill Donovan. It became the forerunner of the CIA. In Europe, every city held hidden battles fought with codebooks and false identities. Radio transmissions buzzed across borders, filled with lies and truths mixed together. A single intercepted message could sink a fleet or save an army. Espionage became the silent backbone of strategy, and while generals planned offensives, unseen minds played the deadliest game of all. The fate of nations rested on invisible hands. At the heart of German communications stood the Enigma machine, a complex cipher device that promised unbreakable security. Each day, it scrambled messages through rotating rotors and plug-board settings. The Germans trusted it completely, believing it invincible. But in secret, mathematicians and cryptanalysts were already at work. Polish experts first cracked early Enigma versions before the war began. They shared their findings with the British as Europe fell. At Bletchley Park, the torch was passed to Alan Turing and his brilliant team. Using logic, machines, and sheer persistence, they turned chaos into clarity. When Enigma finally broke, it opened the gates to the enemy's mind. Every U-boat position, every troop order laid bare. The war in the shadows tilted in favor of the Allies. Alan Turing, a quiet genius whose mind rewired the war, he envisioned the bomb, a machine that could unravel Enigma's codes, working around the clock. His team translated mountains of intercepted data. Their success remained Britain's most guarded secret for decades. They discovered enemy plans before they were executed, convoys rerouted, ambushes avoided, lives saved. Yet Turing's brilliance came at personal cost, isolation, and persecution. The codebreakers' work shortened the war by years, but their names were hidden, their achievements buried under official secrets. Only decades later would the world know the scale of their contribution. In the silent rooms of Bletchley, the true power of intellect was revealed. They fought with logic and won. While codebreakers fought in silence, double agents fought through deceit. Britain's MI5 created the double-cross system, a web of deception. Captured German spies were turned into loyal servants of the Allies. Their mission, feed the Nazis lies disguised as truth. Among them was one of history's greatest deceivers, Agent Garbo, a Spanish double agent who built an entirely fictional spy network. The Germans paid him handsomely, never realizing his reports were British inventions. Through him, entire divisions were seen where none existed. His lies helped fool Hitler himself before D-Day. Espionage was now theater, and the audience was the enemy. Garbo proved that information, not ammunition, could shape the battlefield, and his fictional network became one of the greatest weapons of WWII. Behind enemy lines and behind desks, women played vital roles. In the Special Operations Executive, they trained as couriers and saboteurs. Names like Violette Chabot, Noor Inayat Khan, and Odette Sansom. They carried false identities, coded messages, and courage beyond words. Captured agents faced torture and execution. Yet their silence saved countless lives. At Bletchley Park, women formed nearly 75% of the staff. Typing, translating and analyzing endless streams of data. Their brilliance kept the code-breaking machine alive, yet few received recognition until decades later. They proved that war's secret front had no gender, only bravery. In 1943, British intelligence staged a daring deception. A corpse, dressed as a naval officer, washed up in Spain. On him were fake invasion plans suggesting Greece and Sardinia. The Germans took the bait. They moved forces away from the real target, Sicily. The operation's success saved thousands of lives. It became a legend in the annals of deception. All built on one man's idea and a story carefully constructed. Even death became a weapon of war. Mincemeat proved that imagination could win battles. Espionage was now an art, and the world of shadows grew darker. While codebreakers solved puzzles, others listened to whispers. Intercept stations across Britain picked up enemy signals. Women known as wrens manned the radio outposts. They tracked Morse code chatter day and night. Each frequency told a story. Each pause a clue. German U-boat transmissions were their lifeline. Once intercepted, the data rushed to Bletchley Park. There it was decoded, analyzed, and acted upon. These silent listeners never fired a shot, but they helped sink submarines and save convoys. Their ears became Britain's defense line, and their patience, its strength. The United States joined the intelligence game late. The Office of Strategic Services, or OSS, was born in 1942. It became the blueprint for today's CIA. Its agents operated across Europe, Asia, and Africa. They gathered intelligence, trained resistance fighters, and sabotaged railways. Some were scholars, others adventurers or journalists. Their gadgets ranged from invisible ink to explosive coal. The OSS worked hand in hand with the British, so, together, they spread a web of operations across continents. By war's end, espionage had become global. The OSS changed how nations viewed intelligence forever. America had entered the secret world. Neutral countries became crossroads for spies. Lisbon, Stockholm, and Istanbul buzzed with secrets. Diplomats, businessmen, and agents mingled in cafes. Messages were passed in books, briefcases, or coded telegrams. Every conversation could be a trap. Double agents and informants watched one another. The lines between truth and fiction blurred. Intelligence swapped hands like contraband. Even neutrality had a price. These cities became the war's silent battlegrounds, where smiles hid secrets and coffee cups concealed conspiracies. While the Allies spied on the Axis, the Soviets built their own networks. The Red Orchestra operated deep inside Germany and occupied Europe. Their mission was to relay Nazi plans to Moscow. They used hidden radios, codes, and underground contacts. Many were captured and executed. Yet the flow continued. In Britain and America, Soviet agents infiltrated research projects. Even the atomic bomb secrets were leaked to Moscow. Spycraft wasn't bound by alliances, it was survival. Information became the ultimate currency, and betrayal, a familiar shadow. The war of trust had no borders, only consequences. Every intercepted message was a race against the clock. If decoded too late, it was useless. Turing's team used early computers to gain speed. Each breakthrough brought them closer to the enemy's heartbeat. Ultra-intelligence revealed convoy positions and battle plans. Commanders used it to ambush U-boats and air raids. But secrecy was vital. Acting too obviously could expose the source. So sometimes, they let ships sink to protect the secret. A painful but necessary choice in intelligence. Victory often came at a cost. Every life lost bought another secret kept. And that's the paradox of code breaking. The Allies' final deception before D-Day was monumental. Fake armies, fake radio chatter, fake generals. They even used inflatable tanks and cardboard aircraft, all designed to convince Germany of a phantom invasion. General Patton, admired by the enemy, led this imaginary force. Garbo's reports backed it with first-hand proof. The Germans believed Calais was the real target, so they held their best divisions there. When the real invasion hit Normandy, it was too late. Deception had won the day. Truth became the final weapon, and the Allies struck from the shadows. When the war ended, many spies vanished into anonymity. Some were decorated, others forgotten. Their work remained classified for decades. The codebreakers of Bletchley returned to ordinary lives. The double agents disappeared into quiet retirement. Garbo himself faked his death and lived in Venezuela. The world moved on, but intelligence had changed forever. Wars would never again be fought by soldiers alone. Information had proven mightier than firepower, and the lessons of secrecy still shape modern warfare. The age of the spy had truly begun, and it never really ended. The networks of WWII built the blueprint of modern intelligence, from MI6 to the CIA, from encryption to cybersecurity. The same principles of deception, analysis, and trust endure. But above all, it showed how intelligence can save lives and how silence can roar louder than guns. The heroes of this secret war never sought fame. Their victory was measured in whispers, not parades, in unseen battles. They shaped history's outcome. They proved knowledge is power literally, and that even in chaos, strategy can be invisible. The war ended in 1945, but the shadow war never did.